Hey, it's your neighborhood sociopath. Today we're talking about the long lost art of dating. Don't worry, it only gets worse from this moment on. I'm going to clarify again that the scientific term for sociopath here is anti-personality disorder. I'm not going to be using it, but that is the scientific term. With that established, we're going to talk about what it's like. And I'm going to give some personal examples. For context, I've been married, had a kid, and I've been on many dates, so sit down with your virgin comments. Your comments will be helpful for further investigation. But if you haven't watched my last video, which you should totally do after this one, we talked about some of the qualities of a sociopath, which include lack of empathy, impulsive, easily angered, and extremely manipulative. Fun fact, all those are extremely important to not have inside of a relationship, so buckle up while we start with the interactions. As a person who doesn't feel empathy, if your significant other is in need of any emotional support, you will not be able to provide that naturally. That's a learned behavior, or behavior that you observed and copied over time. After learning, you're able to comfort your partner in a way that suits them best, but the length of time depends on the person. Some people are able to be more in tune and have the ability to pick up on emotions better than others. Me personally, I'm pretty in tune to it, so I was able to pick up on emotions a lot quicker than some other sociopaths that I know. But this may take years for some people. The beginning's usually cool, but a couple months in is when things start to get typically problematic. Problems occur, or someone's life goes haywire, you have to comfort them. That's when you either A, learn it, or B, walk away. I'm gonna say, while I do struggle with emotions as a whole, I, as most sociopaths do, crave a deep relationship. Remember, sociopaths are made from trauma responses, and your brain does not feel that deep emotion. Or rather, you don't really know if you're feeling it. Now, this reigns true for everybody, but on the other hand, it's especially hard for anyone who has that disorder. If you're a sociopath, you know exactly what I mean. Personally, I was with my high school girlfriend for 2 years, and I didn't comfort her a single time. Not to say that she probably didn't need it. There was a time where she thought she was overweight, which she wasn't, and I told her a solution, a workout plan and a dieting plan to help her out, maybe shed off a few pounds while leaning out and being more feminine like she wanted. This wasn't comforting, but it worked for us. Our relationship managed, or whatever problem she had, I gave a solution grounded in reality, without any emotions or extra thought process. This doesn't work for everyone, and I understand that. Now, if you need to learn as a response, this is where things get tricky. If their grandma dies or their dog dies, you don't know how to comfort it. You can't give a solution to something that you don't understand, which is where emotions and lack of empathy come into play. And that's where problems happen. Lack of empathy is bad, but so is being impulsive. We like to buy stuff, dude. No, but on a serious note, FYI, impulsive doesn't just mean buy stuff. In fact, you might get into a relationship because the girl has interest and you don't even really know how you feel. If you do feel anything, it's just cool that someone showed interest in you. And then to be honest, you get really bored or it's just too much work depending on the significant other. This isn't to say that all girls are the same, but if the work does not outweigh the benefit, and I don't mean benefit as sexually here in any way, but to some people that's cool and fair play to you. What I mean by benefits are it's entertaining to talk to her, agreeing opinions, and equal attention to space. If you're up my ass 24/7, leave me alone. And that's how I feel. If you do not know how to separate attention and solo time, I get easily angered. Now, there are a lot of videos out there saying how sociopaths get violent. This is a broad statement and not cool. Same with normal people, better control over their anger, or some don't have better control over their anger. It just depends on the person. I personally often don't show my anger. I get very angry very easily to the point where one word will set me off, but while I'm talking the most amount of crap in my head, the words coming out of my mouth will be like I'm your best friend. Still, in a relationship, this isn't a good quality to have. Being able to hide it practically negates this, but when I do blow up, I scream until I lose my voice. Albeit, it does take me way more than the average person. I will say things to purposely hurt those person's feelings. I had a relationship right after my divorce, and if I'm being honest, I couldn't decide if I was infatuated with the fact that it was a different girl, or she was just genuinely a good person. Regardless, my impulsive nature just took it right in hand. I had an 8-month-old child and a brand new girlfriend. Quite the situation, if I say so myself. We went out on a lot of dates, but there was one time where she said I glanced at another girl. For reference, I did. I knew this would cause a problem, so I didn't say I did, I lied. Because, it was a quick glance, and I wouldn't think there would be a problem as long as I didn't start a conversation. Oh boy, I was wrong. I started bringing up things and that I said were inappropriate, and so she would stop or the situation would die down. Side note, I am aware this is a form of gaslighting, but in my eyes, manipulating a situation to form an outcome where you have the least amount of problems in the moment is a perfectly viable strategy. This is one time where being a sociopath and a normal person do not agree. To this day, I see nothing wrong with what I did, but understand where the social norms don't follow the same. Needless to say, this is where my anger started to show. So then I started bringing up problems. She created overthinking, and it became a scream fest on my part and a cry fest on hers. I left, she called me, talked a bit. I was on my computer paying half attention. You could guess my manipulation worked, and she apologized and said that she was wrong and she shouldn't have assumed that I did, meaning my lie worked. I then proceeded to call it quits because if someone cared that much about a glance, it wasn't worth my effort. For those who have a problem with manipulation here, I'm going to drop an information bomb on you. You probably won't like it. Sociopaths naturally prey on a person's weakness, using past and current information to make the desirable outcome to make your own lives easier. This is actually extremely common, and is also second nature. You won't realize you're doing it until it's been pointed out to you. People who aren't sociopaths do also do this on a minor level, hence the term gaslighting. So before you start acting crazy in the comments, just know you definitely take part in this. I am a manipulator through and through, using people's emotions as a way to get what I want, make a peaceful scenario. If I can argue for 5 minutes and get days of quietness, I will. If I have to stay quiet for a party, knowing that that person's going to make a mistake, I will wait for it to happen, then use it against that person. I have practiced not doing this mainly because it's almost going to give you backlash 90% of the time, and more often than not, it doesn't work in your favor. To say the least, I understand my craving for a relationship won't be permanent if I'm not able to get this under control. Frankly, I think game is game. If you can't keep up with someone else in their thought process, it's on you. If you can't think ahead of a person, it's on you. But social norms think otherwise. But that is just me, and to be honest, it's a hard habit to control. What I said went against most, if not every social norm. I don't recommend doing these things. It's basic nature for me, not a learned behavior, but for you, it will be a learned behavior. Also, let me know if you want any more stories. Before I end this off, situations like this definitely give a bad reputation to sociopath. But in all of my relationships, 99.9% of the time, we were just joking, or at least having calm moments. These are the extreme situations where the nature bursts out rather than my brain. And then I have to take a step back and realize old habits are dying hard. This doesn't reign true for every scenario that I'm in. Well, with that said, it's been your neighborhood sociopath, and I'll see you in the next one.